This is so different. I interviewed a friend of mine, and his name is Noah Weiland. He is the son of like a rock music hero of mine named Scott Weiland. Scott Weiland was the lead singer for Velvet Revolver and Stone Temple Pilots. He also died of complications around his drug use, and he had a very difficult time staying sober, and ultimately he couldn't stay sober. He couldn't for a long periods of time stay sober. He had a terrible drug addiction, and it took him down. And it's so weird because I used to think that that was like a really sexy way to live, like live hard, live fast, and die young. I couldn't feel more different about it now. But I've become friends with his son, Noah, and I like Noah a lot. I think he's a really sweet kid, and he is a musician, and he's incredibly talented. And he came in for an interview. He asked to come in to be interviewed on this podcast, and he has a terrific story. He's in recovery, and he's very open about that. And he's very open about the fact that it's been a difficult road. And when he came in, I could tell that we were having a difficult time communicating, a little bit more difficult than some of my other guests. And he even acknowledged that. Even during the interview, he said, "You'll notice that I have a strange cadence, and you'll notice that this is awkward for me." And I even thought about not putting the interview out because I thought it was sort of awkward. Then something interesting happened. He contacted me and he goes, "Man, I just had this big epiphany. I have a new album coming out and I'm very passionate about it. And I had previously discussed calling it Jesus Calls, which I thought was a great name. And he has a whole reason for that in my podcast." And he goes, "Instead, what I'm going to call it is, I think I'll get dinged by Instagram if I say this, but it's the mentally handicapped R word that I feel is too rude to use, but he's going to call his album that RETARD." And he's like, "I'm going to lean into this learning disability that I have. I'm going to lean into this. And my goal is to make it so people aren't so embarrassed about this. And that's something that I want to accomplish with my music. For that reason, I'm going to put the interview out. And I think that it will create a context. Without this context, it just seems like maybe the interview is a little difficult. But with this context, I think it becomes a very interesting interview. Painful Lessons Podcast. This is Tyler Ramsey. We own mistakes. That's what we like to say. Painful lessons, we own mistakes. And my boy here today is Noah Weiland.
Come on.
Noah Weiland.
Let's go.
When we say we own mistakes, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes. Dude, we've been friends for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to get you on this podcast for a while, and I'm so excited to see you.
Yes, sir.
We are both on a journey of sobriety together.
Mm-hmm.
And you right now, just in talking to you, I'm aware that you're crushing it.
Yep.
And but the road to crushing it isn't just a straight line and then you're crushing it.
Right.
It's highs and lows.
Mm-hmm.
And also your father is musically is a hero of mine and a hero of anyone that loves music.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Weiland,
Yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots, and Velvet Revolver.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe one of the greatest frontmen of all time, the entire history of rock music.
Yeah.
But I also have seen your band,
Mm-hmm.
Noah Weiland,
Mm-hmm.
and the most recently I saw you at Venice West.
Yes.
Which is one of the dopest venues in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, you killed it.
Yes.
You had the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You're an incredible frontman yourself, and you did a stage dive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always got to do a little crowd surf moment because, I don't know. It's just like, even at my smallest shows that I've ever had, like and there's not many people, but if as long as I have, like, a couple people that I know,
Yeah.
like my older shows where it's, like, not that many people, I'll make sure that I at least have, like, my friends in the crowd, like, up close. I'll be like I'll kinda, like, give them that little cue, and I'll be like, "We gotta do this," you know what I mean? So, I
Yeah.
always just gotta go for it.
There is something about the going for it that I really admired when I saw that.
Mhm.
I didn't know how it was gonna go. Like, I it was and I think that that's and you were just, like, balls to the wall about it,
Yes.
and it worked,
Yep.
and it totally worked out, and
Mhm.
I even saw a video of it. It looked it was it's like
It's
you
cool. Yeah, I know,
they crushed it.
I know. Yeah, basically just, like, I don't know, like, I always wanna make my shows feel like a party, you know?
Sure.
And because when you go to a party, usually the next day you're always, like, talking about, like, "Oh, this part of the night was so fun," you know? Or, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, you always look back at those memories and those things. I mean, sometimes maybe you don't have a memory of it, but, like, it's always, like, that in the moment feeling where you get to look back at it and enjoy, like, that moment. And, like, the reason I like having my shows like that is because, then it's like people will tell their friends, it's like the word will get around. And, obviously I'm still trying to grow my own audience, so
Life
yeah,
is like a stage dive, or
it
no, I
is.
should say, there's something about a state like, there's a lesson in stage diving that I think you can apply to life, where it's like, it could go really badly,
It could.
but it could be
Yeah.
amazing,
Mhm.
and if you just go for it, it could be amazing.
Mhm.
Do you so as a front man, you're very like when I saw you for the first time,
Mm.
I was looking, I think just naturally to see what similarities that you might have with your father, and you're a very, very different type of musician.
Mhm.
And you have it, there's no argument. You have a ton of presence. You really have your own thing, and it comes across.
No, yeah.
Is there it's like, what is your relationship with your dad's music?
So, the funny thing is, so I would say it was like when I grew up, I was super into it because obviously, like, that's all I'm around for the
Yeah.
most part, my parents, when you're younger. Super, like,
How
his
old were
biggest
you when he
fan.
died?
15. Yeah.
15?
Just turned
I
15.
thought you were younger than that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, basically, I was, like, a big fan of his music.
Yeah,
Always, like, when I was little, I'd be, like, standing on the coffee table in the living room, like,
sure.
with his music video on MTV or something in the background, like, turning up, jumping on pretending like I'm having my own performance,
Yeah.
And, and the older I got. Is it okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's yours. I brought it for
uh,
you.
what was I saying?
You're one of the most polite rockers.
I mean, I don't know, like, a lot of people think I'm, like, timid, or, like, sometimes they think maybe I'm, like, timid or, like, shy, but it's, like, I just have, like, weird, I don't know, maybe it's, like, I'm autistic, and I'm, like, being completely serious,
Okay.
like, I've always wondered that if I have autism, I feel like I've not been properly diagnosed. I mean, we'll get to that later, but, you know, what I was saying before is with my dad, I grew up on his music.
Yeah.
Uh, then as I got a little older, I started getting into pop. The first pop star, I guess you could say, I got into was Justin Bieber when I was, like,
Okay.
super young.
Cool.
And, I was, like, never into that type of music. Like, I never got into, like, One Direction or many other, like,
Pop.
pop boy bands. But and then, like, as I got into elementary school, I got more into rap. And, like, later elementary school, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
and, middle school. And then by high school, it was, like, all rap and, like, the underground kinda scene of what was going on in the rap music, and, like, alternative a little bit here and there too, of course. But basically, like, where I'm at now is, like, all my influences over the years of growing up, like, they all kinda meshed together and, like, made the sound that I kinda am doing now. You
Yeah,
know what I
because you
mean?
kind of rap
Yeah.
and you sing,
Right.
and it was a pretty unique. I have to say, it was a very unique experience.
Mhm. Thank you.
I was impressed.
Thank you.
I don't know if I've told you this before. I have
Yeah.
met your father.
Oh, yeah.
I've met
Yeah.
your father.
Uh-huh.
I went to rehab, and
Mhm.
they said Scott Weiland is staying here,
Yeah.
and I was like real excited.
Yeah.
And I was all and I was excited to be excited because it was a rough day
Yeah.
because I was entering rehab.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that
Always
he
bad.
had decided he wanted out of the rehab the day that
Yeah.
I got in. And so I saw him packing his clothes and coming out, and he's like, "This isn't gonna work." And
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Well, that isn't quite the um cheer on that I was looking forward to." But still a great encounter.
Hey, they say don't meet your idols, for a reason.
And he kinda delivered, actually. He really did deliver.
Uh-huh.
And then they said, he was I think he was happy that he sobered up and he got what he needed out of the experience.
Yeah.
But, he seemed like I was excited to meet him. I was
Mhm.
very sad. I was like, "I'm gonna be sharing a room with Scott Weiland," or maybe not a room, but the
Yeah, yeah.
place. I was like, "This is gonna be dope."
No,
But,
I get it.
um, I my father shot himself
Mm.
when I was very young, when I was in, 2nd grade, and he ended up living through that,
Mhm.
and it was very kind of a mangled, physically version of himself, really loving guy, but it was, dealing with that at 2nd grade, but I mean, losing your father so suddenly at the age of, you said 13?
14 15. I just
15!
turned 15.
So
Mhm.
the whole everything just kind of was shattered for you.
Yep.
And you were also kind of living the life of the son of a rock star, and then that also
Yeah. And,
stopped.
I feel like I don't know, when he passed, it's weird because I remember
How did he die? What was it that he
it was so they all tried to write it off like, "Oh, he overdosed." Like, he just overdosed, like, I and to be honest, I'm just gonna be flat out, like, I don't really like the woman who was once my stepmom, but she actually what I will say that she probably isn't lying about is that and that I would bet more than anything is that he had a heart attack. And
got
because all the years of, like, abusing his body,
sure.
right, it catches up, and eventually it's like there's only so much your body can take, he was about to
Yeah,
be 50 and, um so I think it was a heart attack, basically. I mean, I think that makes the most sense. Like he wasn't the last years of his life. He wasn't on heroin. He wasn't on opiates. Like he was drinking Xanax and was on Suboxone for like a long time, which
yeah,
is like obviously a lot, and like that shouldn't be for anyone's body's consumption on
sure.
the regular. But the thing is like I still think he was trying and he wasn't just like doing all, I don't he wasn't doing it all like consistently, like
Yeah,
just like all those three things like nonstop. It was more so like he would dabble through it, and although it's bad, like I didn't get to see my father much when he passed away or before he passed away. Like the last year of his life I saw him once. And
he was touring or in
yeah, he was touring. Yeah. And also, well, I mean, I don't know how you see, because like a lot of the stuff I've like blocked out over time, like in my head. And basically, so it's like hard to remember, I also do have just honestly a bad memory from all the stuff I've like experienced. And I feel like the PTSD taking like a toll on my brain, it's like,
yeah,
and like, I mean, of course, I'm an addict. I've done my fair, like my DOC is fentanyl,
yeah.
and
The most dangerous.
yeah, yeah,
DOC, drug of choice.
yeah.
Fentanyl, the most dangerous.
hmm And like basically like I don't know, it's just I think that oh sorry, wait, is we're
You can do whatever.
okay, okay,
Just go.
okay. Okay. I think really, like, I just think, yeah, his heart gave up on him, and oh, no, that's what I was saying before. Sorry, I do that sometimes.
Sure.
Uh, I believe that wait, what was it? I'm sorry, I hate
Yeah, no
losing my
problem.
train of
No,
thought.
just
I
no
I
problem.
do that a lot.
You were speculating that maybe he just had a heart attack
Yeah,
and that, it wasn't an overdose, but he just
yeah.
had a heart attack.
Um, yeah, no, I do, and honestly, even, the lady who was once my stepmom,
Yeah.
she, she's even said this on an interview before, and, like, I've posted about it and, like, agreed with it, because I just the thing is I don't like that a lot of people try to play him off as, like, an addict who just, like, overdosed and, "Oh, he was that's it," and they try and play him off like
Yeah.
how great he wasn't was how they people basically try and play him off like he wasn't
As great as it
as
w
great as he was,
yeah.
and I think that really makes me upset because I think a lot of people do that with me too, and I understand because, like, sure, I have my flaws. I'm not perfect. I have been through a lot of shit, and every day I'm trying to find a new way or focus on ways to fix myself, right? Like, but in the end of the day, I'm still a talented artist. Like, and I know I'm very talented, but a lot of people want to play me off because I got kicked out of a band in 2020 that was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I understand that, like, it just sucks. Like, people want to not give him the credit he deserves?
What was the band that you got kicked out of?
It was called Suspect 208.
It had a following and people because you got kicked out of it,
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh, man, were they trying to say, like, you're just like his dad?"
Basically, yeah. And it sucked. It was like I had just gotten out of high school like not long before the band started,
Sure.
and I didn't really, I didn't play sports in high school. I barely graduated because I was like kicked out of my family home
Yeah. Why did you get
senior
kicked
year.
out?
I was like smoking weed and just not getting good grades really. I mean, like I said, I'm an addict,
Yeah.
but I wasn't really an addict until, well, we'll get to that. But
Yeah.
I wasn't really an addict until after that ban ended. And basically, I got out of high school. I was making music. I first started off making rap music for fun.
Mhm.
Then I started making alternative rock and hard rock and then like punk rock, all this stuff. And basically, I joined that band and everything was going good. We almost signed a deal with Warner Bros.
Yeah.
Had all this stuff going on. Was dabbling around with drugs,
Yeah.
with another person from that band.
Playing around with drugs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And long story short, he wanted to get sober one day. I knew nothing about AA or sobriety or anything about like that
Sure.
at the time, and uh, he didn't want to keep going, so he kicked me out and basically moved on in that band without me. And once it ended, it flopped, and then after it flopped, it all just fell apart. And
Got it.
so, yeah, honestly, oh, go on. Sorry.
No, it's so it's like you, the band it didn't work out, and so it's like they kicked you out,
Hmm.
um, almost to just out of frustration because
Yeah.
things weren't working out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you didn't, like, do anything serious to
No.
get kicked
No.
out.
No.
And then your fans sort of turned on you.
Actually, a lot of people had my back.
They did?
I mean, it was, like, very divided, at the time, some people were on their side, some people were on my side, but, like, uh,
But
for the
now do
most
you
part.
but now, like, is it a real sting if someone is like, "Ah, he's just like his dad."
Not really. I don't think so.
Okay,
I
good.
mean, to be honest, I think we are definitely alike in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, uh, our mannerisms, just the way we talk kind of awkwardly. I mean, as people are gonna like, I wish I could like look at the camera and tell the people this right now, but like, I'm aware that I talk odd. You know what I
You
mean?
can.
But like, it's
If that's something you wanna say, please
it's
say
yeah,
it.
no,
Yeah.
I'm aware that I talk odd and like kind of like weird cadences.
Yeah.
Um, it's just how I am. I don't know if it's. I mean, I've always kind of been like that.
There's something called 2E,
What
which
is it?
means like twice exceptional. It's
Yeah,
like basically if, means like you're really great at some things,
yeah.
but then you are kind of stunted in other areas.
That's what I think it
So
is.
maybe you have that.
Yeah,
That
because that's why I think I have autism, and that's why what I was waiting for a moment like this, a more mental health part to like
yeah.
chime in a little bit about that. But like, isn't autism kind of the same way, where it's
Well,
like,
I think autism is part of this 2E thing.
gotcha,
I've only just started hearing about
yeah,
this twice exceptional.
mm,
Um, and so it's like if you are naturally inclined to make music and you're naturally inclined to do something, all these other things,
mm-hmm,
but you just have trouble communicating in other
yeah,
areas.
yeah,
Yeah, like I've started hearing about it.
yeah.
Do you have trouble tying your shoes? Did you ever have trouble tying your shoes?
That's funny. I still do the two bunny ears.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's I think oddly that's a sign.
yeah.
Did you trying to think of the other signs. Hey Jerry, will you look up 2E disability? Tell me what you find.
I
Man,
want to see this.
I wish I had Andrew Huberman here. He could like talk more about this. But so there's like a variety of things that you could be on the spectrum for.
Yeah.
It might not just be autism. Twice exceptional refers to individuals who are both gifted and have a disability.
Huh.
This term such as learning disability or neurological challenge like ADHD.
Yeah.
So maybe you have that.
Huh.
Maybe you have that. Who knows? How were you in school? Not as
Not too
good as
good. Honestly, I started out pretty good,
yeah.
but like the thing is, uh, I don't know. I didn't end off like I said. Almost didn't graduate my last year, so
But was that because of behavior stuff or did you have trouble reading or are you able to do like several tasks in a row?
no. And
Oh,
honestly, yeah, like I wasn't the best student, even my like best times.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I
Even you're
was
focused.
yeah, like I definitely everyone tried to say I had ADHD, so maybe,
Yeah.
you know, but
You could have had this
like
other thing.
I know. And like uh I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say. I'm sorry.
Do you have trouble sustain I mean, with me, you don't seem to have trouble looking
Yeah.
people in the eye,
Yeah.
but in general, do you have trouble sustaining eye contact with people?
When I'm thinking, like see how I looked away right there
Yeah,
to like
you
think of
did.
what I was gonna say?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm thinking a little bit, yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the treatment is for this. There may just be something you just accept about yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I've already kind of accepted it, you know what I mean? Because and it's sometimes it sucks because like hold on. I'm like when it comes to like flirting,
Yeah.
even with like girls and stuff like that, I'm
Yeah.
terrible at it. Like and not that I don't got game in my own way,
Yeah, you're a
you know what
great
I'm
looking
saying?
kid. Yeah.
But like when it comes to like flirting, like because obviously that has a lot to do with like the way you speak
Yeah.
and cadences. Like I suck at it. Like I'm like like I cringe whenever every time I like think of me like flirting or like if I do flirt and I'm like, oh no, why did I say that? You know what I mean? I'm just like so embarrassing.
So
But
flirt is there's a lot of banter. Like the flirt, there's a back and forth banter.
yeah,
And you kind of read what someone's energy is and then
yeah,
you throw it back and you throw it back. So do you feel like the problem with flirting for you is that you have trouble reading someone's energy and then kind of deciding how you want to throw that back? Or is it like when your turn to like throw back the banter, you're up in your head about what you should say about them. Which one of those
I
things
think it
is it?
might be the second one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I guess it could be both, you know? I don't know. But maybe I'm just really bad at flirting. I don't know. Who
But
knows?
somehow it works out. Yeah, I'm
So
aware that you have game.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, you're a new dad.
I am.
You're a new dad.
Yes.
How old is your son?
He is about to be 7 months.
Awesome. What did
Yep.
you name him?
Anakin.
Anakin.
Yeah.
Cool name. Cool name.
Anakin Weiland. Anakin Red Weiland.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Anakin Red Weiland.
Mhm.
And you like Star Wars?
Yes,
Obviously.
of course.
I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
I know everything about Star Wars.
Fun fact, the reason I named him Anakin wasn't just because I liked the character,
Yeah,
but when I was younger, me and my dad went to see Revenge of the Sith in theater,
you did.
and he wore a Darth Vader costume with the helmet, so
Yeah.
no one would, because he was like really like
So
popping
smart.
yeah, so no one could see him. And I wore like a Luke Skywalker costume. We had our capes on, everything. We walked in the theater, sat down, and we're just like enjoyed it. It was like honestly one of the best memories I have with him.
What a cool memory.
Yeah,
Wait, and which one was it? Revenge of the Sith?
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah,
Very cool.
yep.
And your dad liked Star Wars a lot?
Oh, dude, he was crazy about it. He was such a nerd. Like yeah, for
He
sure.
was?
Uh huh.
Oh man, what a fun memory to take your son to go see Star Wars.
Yeah,
And that was a great I thought that was a great movie.
yeah,
There were so many great fights in that. Um, and then he dresses up as Darth Vader
yeah.
so that he wouldn't
What
get
a good yeah.
recognized. Oh man, awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
Mhm.
What when your father was touring and everything,
Yeah.
did you ever go on the road with him?
Yeah, of course.
And you would go like
Yeah, like, I mean, whenever people ask me, like, "Oh, where have you traveled to?" Or, like, "Where," like, I'm just like, I mean, honestly, everywhere.
everywhere.
I don't know, you know what I mean? Because I was so young, which is cool because now I get to relive it as an adult one day when I go on my own
Sure.
tours, and that's kinda like my thought behind it, my thought process behind it. It's like, I could say I've been there.
Did you
Yeah.
learn from any legends? Like, did you have experiences like people probably some of the bands that were opening it for him were probably like huge now. Like, do you
Cage the Elephant was one of them, actually.
who Caged the Elephant?
Yeah.
That was someone who taught you?
No, 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 they didn't actually, I mean, I might have met them, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but they opened for my dad, on one of the STP reunion tours,
Okay.
and, I remember I was, like, super young, and I was like, "Wait, is that Nirvana? I didn't know Nirvana was still alive or something." I was, like, 5 or, like, super young, I don't know, but and I remember, like, I don't know why, but I guess he was, like, doing, like, some screaming, like, vocal inflictions, like, in one of the
Yeah.
songs, and I just thought he was Kurt Cobain, and I thought it was super cool, but yeah.
Who's your favorite, like, musicians right now?
Um, well, so my all-time 2 favorite, and it's very funny because 'cause they're completely different artists
Yeah.
from, like, the music and everything they believe in. Now, mind you, well, the first one's Green Day,
Okay.
favorite band of all time. Favorite artist? I know. Oh wait, you're actually gonna not like this answer, but I'm just gonna clarify. Wherever I do not support the views of this person now, but Kanye West.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, I could go on and on. I
I know you don't like because I've seen you comment. Oh, thank you.
dude, I hate Kanye, but I
Yeah, I
love
know.
I he's so influential.
Yeah.
He man, I went to his Sunday services.
Hmm.
Like when he used to have these like amazing gospel choirs
Yeah.
show up and do these amazing things.
Uh
It
huh.
was one of the most important thing. It was it was one of the most impactful performances I've seen in my whole life.
Yeah.
And I felt so close to God when I was when I was there.
Hmm.
And I mean, it was like those performances live were I mean, they just shook me. They
No,
were
I know.
so incredible.
Yeah.
Such like, and I even was very inspired by how much he was moved by like Jesus and God and all the stuff and I was like, this is so incredible that
Mhm.
he's um going in this gospel direction. I thought it was so and when I was in rehab, like one of the lowest points of my life,
Me too.
you listen
Wha
to Jesus is
Yep,
King?
yep. And Donda. That was, like, the one that came after that was about his mom,
Yeah,
or was, like, I inspired or for his mom,
yeah,
basically? Yeah.
dude, and I mean, I could go on and on. College Dropout, it
Yep.
was incredible. I thought it was, his love of this artist, Murakami, I
Yeah,
got really into Murakami, and it, kind of opened my eyes about just, like, the idea of creating a world with your art that was
yeah.
even bigger than just, like, one piece.
We're in that world right now.
We are in that world.
Yeah,
So all of that stuff, there's so much of who I am artistically would have to say thank you to Kanye,
yeah,
but none of that excuses the fact that he's become such a complete asshole, and
yeah,
that's such an understatement.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like the after that terrorist attack, eh, with that at that music festival is the most horrible thing I've ever seen.
Which one?
The, October terrorist attack in Israel. You know what I'm talking about? It was
Huh.
years ago now.
Mm-mm.
They got all these hostages. You don't know?
I
Yeah.
I I'm, honestly very out of the loop with the news.
Oh
The
my
only
god.
you got what?
The
What happened?
worst thing ever during a music festival,
Yeah.
um, all of these Palestinian terrorists came in and they massacred hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Israelis that were
Mm.
kids that were celebrating at
What?
this music festival. And then they took a shit ton of hostages back,
Uh-huh.
and they still haven't let all these hostages go.
What?
And they're still holding people, and
Damn.
they're screaming Allah Akbar the whole time that they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's horrible, and it has started this. I mean, it started this devastating retaliation from Israel,
Mhm.
who is trying to get all these hostages, and they're just, I mean, the destruction in Gaza is unfathomable. I
Mhm.
mean, it's the it's and the like the reverberation. I don't know why I'm not saying this. The like the ripple effect
Mhm.
of this reverberations. It's devastating what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so terrible. And
Uh-huh.
so he has taken this like very sensitive time and decided to become a Nazi,
Yeah, yeah.
which
Yeah.
Hitler would have laughed his head off if he
Yeah.
thought that that was happening.
Yeah.
I mean, and his this new song, Heil Hitler.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just the worst. He's become
Mhm.
the worst. And I also think how he's dealing with his own, like marriage and custody is just the grossest. And oh god, it's just so disgusted with him.
I I just, like when it comes to him, it's like
Such a loser. Oh, I mean, just what an incredible.
like, I just feel like it's like, uh, what was I gonna say?
He's
I
so filled with pride
Yes.
that it's
Like,
distorted. It's
the
completely distorted
that's what I was gonna say is
ego.
I relate to him, and not about what his, like, n
Yeah,
hatred views, obviously, of
sure.
course, but, like, I relate to him probably more than, like, any other artist because of the fact that, like, of I can you can see his, like, the things that he, what is it called? Like, uh his self-esteem, like, you could see where it's at, you know what I mean? And you could see, like, he doesn't, like he's trying to prove something, you know what I mean?
Clearly.
And obviously not in the same way, but like my whole life, I've always been like, people have always tried to like, you know, play like sit. Oh my gosh. People have always tried to basically, like just count me out, or
Yeah.
like think I'm not what I want to be, or think I can't do what I want to do. You know what I mean? In this life. And like,
They try to write you off as
try,
trash and a
yeah,
troublemaker or something
right.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different way, obviously,
Sure.
but like I relate to him in the sense of like the insecurities. That's the word I was looking for. That obviously it's an easy word, but like sometimes just can't come to my head. But like his insecurities, relate to. You know what I mean? It's
Like a
just a different.
personality fueled by insecurities.
Yes, yeah. And not to say that like I'm out here doing the stuff that he's doing,
Sure.
but like I
Nobody's condoning anti-Semitic things,
right,
is what you're
yeah,
saying. Yeah, of
exactly,
course.
yes. And
It's the worst.
it just I understand like his pain. I don't agree with how he takes it out, but I understand his pain on like just in a different way, I guess. And
Sure.
like I don't know, it's like when everyone seems to always say, like, once he lost his mom, like, his whole world was gone, and, like, when I lost my dad, like, my whole world was gone, you know?
Yeah.
And I get that, like, you know, I felt neglected basically by my entire family, basically my whole life, After my dad died, it was like I was lost, you know?
Did you feel screwed over by your family?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be honest, I always thought it was my dad that didn't wanna see me and my sister when we were younger, but, my family just didn't want us to see him, because and I'm not gonna throw any names out there just because, you know, things change every day,
Yeah.
but, I definitely could have seen my dad a lot more, and if he was, able to, uh, and yeah, it sucks for that, but anyways, yeah.
Well, it's interesting that that's what you're responding. Well, one, I'm slightly entertained that you didn't know anything about the terrorist attack
No,
because I mean, there's a
I'm not
lot for you to read up on
no, I
because it's
know.
horrible. The most horrible
I
thing.
think I have heard of I mean, it sounds familiar, but the only news I ever keep up on is, like, music industry stuff, and
Yeah.
that's, like, my whole world, basically. So, like, a lot of outside stuff, I mean, like, real world stuff, I just never find out about, like, until way later because, like, it's so I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just so in my own world a lot of the times, I guess.
There was this festival called the Nova Festival, and it was the sweetest. I mean, it was like a kind of a real fun rave, different
Yeah.
ages, yeah, they in an attack that was planned for a long time.
Mhm.
Hamas just surprised Israel, who was normally just very much on guard.
Mhm.
They found a moment where they were not on guard, and they coordinated like hundreds of people at the same time,
Mhm.
charged these fences, bulldozed these fences, charged in, and the first closest group that they could find happened to be this um, music festival in process. And there's something that you can see that I think is in Miami right now. It's called the Nova Exhibit,
Mhm.
and you can go and kind of immerse yourself in how horrible that experience and
Really? They have
probably was. Yeah.
there's an exhibit for it too?
Yeah, this guy, Scooter Braun,
Oh, yeah.
put
Yeah,
together
yeah,
this
yeah.
exhibit. He has grandparents that were, I mean, he's very passionate about this. He has
Mhm,
grandparents that are Holocaust survivors.
mhm,
He has this exhibit started in LA,
mhm.
and then or no, it started in New York, then went to LA, and now it's in Miami, and it's going to keep going. I think it's in Toronto next. and is one of the most you hear calls of people calling their mother as they're being hunted by the terrorists,
Oh,
like
shoot.
sweet young girls, and some of the news footage is something you can never forget once you
Yeah.
see it of these, concert goers dressed up and then they're kidnapped and put on the back of trucks, and these guys are, like, cheering, and it just drove Israel to I mean, there it's the destruction is on such another level. It's so terrible.
That's yeah.
So all of the but instead of being any type of positive advocate for any peace or anything,
Mhm.
he has only stoked the hatred
Mhm.
towards Jews.
Yeah.
I mean, his company, they really literally producing
Oh, the
shirts
swastika
with
shirts. Yeah, yeah,
swastikas.
yeah. No. So
There's a graphic designer deciding how big the swastika should be on a
yeah,
shirt.
I know. Yeah, he had a chain of it too.
He's
That's stupid. I
well,
think that's stupid
just
as
the
hell.
idea that he was cheering for a team that would have no respect
Exactly.
for him
No,
is
I
such an
know.
understatement.
No, and the funny thing is,
I
like
mean,
oh, go
what?
on. Sorry, sorry.
Well,
No,
I
no.
get so I'm just it is so sad because I used to really think that he like there's a
There's
place
oh, go on.
that I support called the Los Angeles Dream Center,
Mhm.
and it's this place where I got sober and it's they really helped me find a real relationship with God. I'm so grateful for. And when I was in rehab, there was a day where they had like In and Out show up,
Mhm.
or, and Kanye paid for that.
Uh-huh.
And then there was another day where they had people that because it was COVID
Mhm.
that they had no food and stuff, and so this place, the Dream Center, was providing meals
Mhm.
to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people a day.
Right.
Kanye, I think, picked up the tab for several days,
Oh,
and he
dang.
was like, "Give him Chick-fil-A." And it was so popular, and made it's such a tough time, made people so happy.
Mhm.
Anyway, I used to love the guy,
Yeah.
it's so disappointing.
What do they say
Well, they
that
say don't meet your heroes.
that and also
I've loved some of my heroes.
really?
Yeah, loves. I've met some heroes and I've been blown away with how incredible they are.
That's
Blown
good.
away.
That's good. I hope my experiences are gonna be the same way because, I mean, I'm always worried that, like, this or I don't know. I feel like it would go good, but, you know, I don't know. I just dang, what was I just there was something I was gonna say
Will
that I really wanted to
Ferrell,
talk about.
amazing. David Hasselhoff, amazing. There are a lot of heroes that you and I both know in our sobriety
You
that
said
are
Will Ferrell?
yeah, Will Ferrell's
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah. But there are heroes that you and I know through
Yeah.
our sobriety
Yep.
that are heroes of mine, like they do amazing things,
Mhm.
and none of them have disappointed me. In
Mhm.
fact, I've been so overwhelmed with how impressed I've been
Mhm.
and inspired
Yeah.
by them. Um, dude, you know who I met one time that
Mm.
turned out really sour do you know who Henry Rollins is?
Mm-mm.
He used to be the he used to be in Black Flag.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's like this
Mhm.
like punk legend.
Yeah.
And one time I was working for a television company and I reached out to his management team to try to do a show
Mhm.
about the different adventures he was having around the world. And I met with him, and he came into our production company, and we had all these great talks, and I'd met him, and we had this great time, and he was going to sign this deal.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason, halfway through this meeting, I took like a ton of Adderall because I thought that I was going to have to do something later, and he likes to talk, and he was going in and he was talking. The meeting ended up going on so much longer than I thought it was going to, and all of this like mountains of Adderall that I took
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna leave right after the meeting, and I was gonna go paint up a storm. I was gonna go to my studio and paint,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Man, I wanna be, like, high as a kite when I start painting," and
Yeah, yeah.
it um, I didn't time it that way. What ended up happening is this meeting was going on, and all of this Adderall kicked in, and it was way, way too much,
Mhm.
and in my head, I felt like the meeting had been going on for days. And I remember he was talking about he was talking about Bush or something like that. And there was one little thing about what he was saying that I remember thinking, I don't really agree with that. And I made a comment where I said to him, my hero, I go, I don't even, you know what I think is great? It's like, I don't even like some of the things you're saying about politics, but like, I think where you're coming from is so valuable. Well, I think that there's a chance I didn't communicate that well. And what I communicated was, "I don't like your politics." That's what I actually communicated to him.
Yeah.
That's what he heard, and he was and it a after right after the meeting, I got a call while I was all jumped up on Adderall from his management team, and they're like, "He doesn't wanna do the show anymore." And I was like, "Oh my
Oh
god."
my
And
fuck.
so I had to, like,
Oh,
sit with this. You can say whatever you want.
okay.
I had to like sit and dwell with the disappointment that I had screwed up because I'd taken a bunch of drugs during a meeting with my one of my idol, like someone
Dude.
a legend, and I disappointed. I was so sad about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Dude, I've had kinda similar situations to that. I mean, a lot of people that, like, bigger artists or, like, producers, just anyone that I've, like, met in the past. Wait, really quick, is it okay if, or is this not allowed?
stay or do whatever you want.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the vape?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. Um, basically, a lot of people that I've, like, worked with or, like, wanted to work with,
Yeah,
it may have not been my idols exactly, but I've definitely been interested in working with them.
yeah,
Like, I don't know, like I said, like, I've struggled with addiction for, like, years now, and because of, like, where I was at in my life before, they love my music, but because of that, like, they just don't wanna work with me, and honestly, that, like, really drove me crazy
yeah,
for a long time, and, like, I think the worst part about it is just that, like, I just kinda wanted a friend first and foremost, you know, and it's
sure.
like, I wasn't necessarily trying to, like, "Oh, let's just hop on my song, hop or I'll get on yours," whatever, you know what I mean? Or, "Make a song for me, blah, blah, blah," or, "Let's make a song." It was more like I wanted to have, like, a group of people that I'm friends with and, like, have in my life that, like, can show me the ropes, you know? But
Yeah.
a lot of those people, like, just kinda showed like, didn't really care, you know? And that's why, like I
There are people that you were hoping would be mentor to you, and they
yeah, yeah,
instead just blew you off.
yeah, and, like,
Who?
well, we got, like do you know an artist named Modson? No? He's, basically, he's with the whole, like, Machine Gun Kelly, like, type of
Okay.
circle of people, and, I met him at a meeting, actually, and, matter of fact, it was Indio's place, and, I met him at a meeting, and he was like we were in the studio, and I was like we were just all playing music and stuff like that, and, like, on the speaker, like, our own stuff, and I played a song, and he was, like, super into it. Saw him at another meeting again, and, uh, what's it called? He was super cool. We chopped it up for a while, talked for a bit. He was like, "I wanna, like, help you out, you know, get you to the next level, whatever. Hop maybe I could, like, hop on your song and it could help you out," you know? The second, like, like, get out of the loop kind of for a little bit and,
Mhm.
like, bounce back, gone. Like, I
Mhm.
just never heard from the dude, and, I mean, not to say I was, like, the biggest fan of his music or something, but, like, it was pretty irritating because it was, like, someone in the niche that I'm trying to, like, get into, or
Yeah.
at least at the time, and he kinda just totally disregarded me all because of, like, where I was at with my usage or sobriety at the time or where whatever, you know what I mean?
Maybe you were a wild card or kind of a loose cannon. Maybe you were
Mhm.
which I think
Definitely.
part of,
Definitely used to be.
yeah, I think part of you get it part of the way to stay sober is to take responsibility for certain things. And you've been maybe you've been a wild card. Maybe you've been a loose cannon,
I have been a loose
and
cannon.
that's frightening to people.
Yeah, and I think the part of it that I get mad at, though, is, you know, most people I've met in AA,
Oh,
and
wait,
it's
wait. We can't we can talk about,
oh, no, I'm not talking anyone specific.
oh, okay, good.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Good.
no. Oh,
Yeah,
trust
good.
me, don't worry.
Yeah.
And I also can certain parts be cut, or is it all one go?
Probably not,
Okay,
but I think we're good.
okay.
But we just I think we can't reference things that have happened in meetings or people
Oh,
or
no,
things.
no, no. It's not like
Yeah,
that. No,
yeah.
no. Basically, it's just, um, a lot of people that I've met in AA have, like, done me really dirty, like, and or have, like, tried to do some schemy thing to me, And I think a part of where I'm at now with, I guess, sobriety and recovery, like, and I could be fully honest about it, like, and I don't really have any shame in it. I
Okay.
just I still smoke. Uh, I quit drinking recently. Uh, and I quit fentanyl this time around 6 months ago. And basically, which is January 3rd, by the way.
Wow.
And that was my last run. I went on a little run a little before, and it was like really hard when my son was first born. I felt like, how am I ever gonna live up to being a good father when I didn't even have a good father?
Sure. That's
And
scary.
like everything just got super scary, and I kind of just dipped out for like a short time, and I'll be honest, like and it was scary, and like uh I didn't know what to do, like it was just everything was so much pressure. I just started working a job at the time too, on top of it. And in the past, every time I'd worked a job, I would always relapse. And it happened. Uh, went off the edge for a little bit, bounced back.
Your relapse.
Yeah. And
Would you relapse? Oh, you relapse with
fentanyl.
fentanyl.
Yeah. And I was, matter of fact, I was doing 15 of the fake fentanyl pills and about like a liter of liquor every day for
Wow.
like maybe 2, 3 weeks. And
Popping
snorting.
snorting
Yeah.
15 fentanyl pills.
Yeah.
When you say fake fentanyl, you mean
Or
like
like or the fake oxys that
oh,
they
got it.
make. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're like buying oxy, but it's fentanyl.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. And it was gnarly, and it was definitely the gnarliest run that I had been on. Pretty short compared to my how I used to be. And where I'm at now, like I said, I smoke weed. I just quit. Oh, I quit Suboxone 2 months ago.
That's huge.
Yeah, I quit. I was on Suboxone for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's like a really big thing for me recently. Uh, quit drinking recently. Like, I don't know exactly. I don't want to look at my phone, but maybe like a month ago.
Okay.
Uh, wasn't drinking that heavy, but what I'm getting to by saying this is like everyone in AA says it's always progress, not perfection. And I think a lot of the times people judge me for not being fully sober, and like a lot of people that I've met. But if it's really about progress, not perfection, then what's wrong with what I'm doing? I'm not going to meetings saying I'm clean. I'm not making people relapse. I'm not trying to bring it around anyone like weed or something that if someone's offended by it, you know? So it's like I feel like I'm in a pretty good place overall.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm gonna keep going up and getting better as time goes by, like I said. But
Well, I'll just say this,
yeah,
in knowing you,
yeah.
I think that you have seemed brighter when you were not using anything
Mhm.
than the other times.
Mhm.
So, is there a chance that everyone maybe was just thinking that it would be better if you weren't messing with anything that wasn't serving you?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Like, is there a chance that um, this judgment that you
Mm.
think is coming from others is someone, maybe people are just noticing that you were using something that wasn't serving you?
Could be.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah,
Yeah. Because I mean, I've always been open for the most part, kind of,
yeah,
about like where I'm at with things.
yeah,
Um, and so I would tell people, like, if anyone asks where I'm at with it, I would usually be honest,
sure,
usually.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, you could be right. You know, maybe people just wanted to, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah.
It's hard.
There's something in my head when I think of the "Don't Meet Your Heroes." There's like one of my favorite bands in the whole world is Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Yeah.
and I just think that their story is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So inspired by their story. Every single person in the band I think is just killer.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to work for MTV, and I was a director for a show called Making the Video.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine that was also and you kind of you there are um there are several crews, and there are several videos going on at the same time. So a friend of mine from the other crew told me
Yeah.
that Anthony Kiedis, he was on set with Anthony Kiedis, and Anthony Kiedis was a jerk to him. So
Oh
I
shit.
saw during this kind of like almost blackout moment, I was at a dinner with my brother and these two girls, and all of a sudden Anthony Kiedis shows up with people. And for whatever reason, I go, Anthony Kiedis, you are a douchebag. A douchebag, douchebag, douchebag. And I caused like a huge scene at this restaurant.
Yeah.
And my brother tried to like sit me down and get me to be quiet.
Yeah.
And I just like put my hand, I mean my head in my like arms and kept yelling douchebag.
Yeah.
And it's so terrible. I mean, I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah.
And Dax Shepard was with him, who's a like I think an awesome I love one of my favorite movies is what's it called? Up Without a Paddle.
Uh-huh.
Without a Paddle. I think it's one of the funniest movies ever.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, and he also has a podcast
Uh-huh.
called The Armchair Expert, and it is amazing. Anyway, anytime I hear of his podcast, I get upset because apparently he was like, "Should we beat the shit out of this guy?" And this group of people decided that they were not going to beat me up. And it's apparently because it turns out they were all coming from an AA meeting. And so they
Oh,
had this
wow.
like wonderful spiritual vibe.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, even if someone messes with us, let's not beat the shit out of him
Wow.
because better than that.
Yeah.
And so I ended up later running into Anthony, and he ended up being like a saint.
Uh-huh.
And he was aware that I was, you know, going through something. He seemed to be really happy that I was trying to get help.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the most like inspiring representatives of like a spiritual program I could ever imagine.
Mhm.
But I've never encountered Dax. I've always been wanting to apologize and be like, "Thanks for not just kicking the shit out of me."
Yeah.
Who knows how things would have turned out? But I ended up getting help right after that.
Yeah.
I maybe would have just been, hated the world if I would have been beaten up.
Uh-huh. Well, this is your moment, Dax. If you're watching this,
Dax, if you're
come on.
watching that, I would love it if he was watching.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, thanks for not. I mean, I would have been such an. I think he's a bit of a bruiser, I believe, but I think I would have been such an easy. I mean, I was just nearly blacked out. I think they were like 8 people deep in this party of the
Uh-huh.
group that they were traveling in, and, so embarrassing, but I ended up seeing Anthony Kiedis only the next day. Happened to see him the next
That's
day,
crazy.
and I was just, like, so ashamed of how I had acted,
Yeah.
and with a hero of mine,
Mhm.
and he was, like, so loving about it. Really inspired me.
That's funny actually. It reminds me of oh wait. I actually I can't say that yet, actually. Never mind. I totally forgot something. No, I can't say it.
There's something that you can't say because it reveals something about
Yes,
me
yes,
or something.
yes. That's why.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah,
I'm glad that you
yeah,
caught that.
yeah,
I won't have to edit it out.
yeah. I'm sorry.
You have to be we have to be
No,
respectful.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There's something to be sorry about. Thanks. I'm
Yeah,
glad you brought it up. Um, where are you with your journey of sobriety right now? You came from a
yeah,
sober living place,
yeah. I
correct?
did. My house is it's like a sober living, basically. I would. It's like a. It's not the typical one. It's more like just a sober community, and
Okay.
everyone kind of live. And it's like everyone's doing their own thing, and either working or just doing something productive with their lives, and everyone kind of hangs out when they can, at the house. It's
Sure.
nice, but with sobriety right now, uh, I guess cleanness, whatever you want to call it, because sober would mean that I don't do anything, but I mean, I think I'm in a lot better place than I was for sure 6 months ago. But also, I was dealing with some troubles with the mother of my child in a little bit, like basically like a few months ago, a little
Got it.
more. We had some issues. We're good now.
What were the issues?
You know, just actually, I can't bring that up either because it's legal issues at the moment.
Sure.
But
Got
but
it.
uh basically what's it called? Yeah, we were just had some problems. It's not never mind. I don't want to get into it. But uh basically yeah, like we were going through it. Long story short, she almost got deported and uh to prevent being deported,
Okay.
her, my son, and her mom all flew back to her mom's place in Canada.
Oh, in Canada.
And so I haven't seen my son in like a little over 2 months now.
So you're probably dying to see him.
Yeah. And it sucks. And the thing is, for when I was seeing him like once, twice a week before that
Yeah.
because I live in OC and they were in LA.
Okay.
Um, the thing is, uh, once he moved, it was out of the blue, and I couldn't see him one last time. So that last time I saw him, I thought I was going to be able to see him again, so it wasn't like that nice last time visit, where
Yeah.
you could really embrace someone. And I was just so depressed for like the longest time. I wouldn't leave my room. That's why I said recently I quit drinking, which has also helped me get out of that depression because
Yeah.
everyone knows drinking's a depressant. Uh,
It is.
and what's it called? Basically, I, you know, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Uh, long story short, I finally got my shit together, stopped drinking, got my passport renewed,
And you're
waiting
gonna
for it
get
to
to
come
see
in,
your kid.
and now I'm gonna get to see my kid soon. So yeah,
Great.
I'm really excited about that. It's just, I don't know, being a dad's hard. And it's like it also makes time go by a lot faster. But it's also like really wholesome when it is, you know?
Sure.
And it's really nice. I just feel like I haven't fully got to experience the best parts of it yet, you know?
Yeah.
And I think with the timing being me slowly getting my life together and taking one thing off my dependencies at a time, you
Yeah.
know, like all my dependencies taking one thing off, uh, and slowly moving to the next. Now, when I see him next, I feel like I'll have that like really special bonding moment where I finally feel like, dang, I'm a dad, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? I don't know.
No, it makes perfect sense.
So,
You have slowly reduced the things that you're addicted to,
yeah.
and you're gonna be able to show up like a dad like never before.
Yep.
And you're excited, especially because you have all of these issues with your father not being the best father.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I think he tried really good though. Tried and his the best he could, you know? And I think I wish I got to see him more. Um, I think mm, had I had him around more, a lot of these things maybe have wouldn't have happened as I gotten older, you
Sure.
know? Um, anything from like memory loss to like abandonment issues or drug use, all that stuff, I think it wouldn't have been as bad. Um, but you know, it is what it is.
It's a healthy
Yeah.
place to at least appreciate that your parents did the best that they could,
Yep.
even if you're also aware that it maybe not was the best job.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't know. I'm just yeah.
Peace. We're done. Amazing. That's great. I
Sweet.
love what you ended with. That's the kind of the clip I'm gonna take.
Really?
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
great. Is there anything that you wanted to say? You think anything we missed out on? Do you want to talk about an album or anything like that?
Is it okay if really quick we can uh I just wanted to tell and bring up the album
Yeah,
and just really fast and then also I wanted to tell because it's Full Send podcast and I know a lot of people come on here talking about crazy stories. Just
yeah.
a quick crazy like
Painful
story.
Lessons
Yeah,
podcast. Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Is that okay? Real quick?
yeah. Of
Okay.
course.
What should I start off with? Or
Anything you want.
um how should I roll into it?
How just like you're telling me a story.
Um I think one of the craziest things that happened when I was in my using like my down bad days
Yeah,
as I call them, uh I was going to meet up with a plug and and I'm just saying this because it's like, you know, clip farming type of
a plug is a dealer, by the way.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
And um basically I go up and I ask him if I can look at the pills real quick
yeah.
just because I wanted to see if it was like the kind that I like or whatever, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I was like, "Is it okay if I could look at him?" And he was like, "Oh man, why do you always do this? Like you're just a junkie, bro. Like you're like all this shit's the same. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's just fentanyl, bro." And he was like, and when he said that, like I felt so insulted, and I was like, no way. He just said like, you know what I mean? I was like
Yeah.
so offended, and I was like, I froze up for a second, and I just stared there, and I, like, kinda, like, closed my eyes and, like, went limp for a second, and I just, like, I was like, I can't do it, I can't do it." And he's like, "You good, bro?" And right when he said that, boom, 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 just started taking off on him, and
You
then
started taking off on him.
yeah, I started taking off on him, just fucking punching this dude like I didn't even know it. I was just hitting him like just like crazy, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, and then I like turn into my chair, and I'm like, I go over and I'm like trying to kick him and like into the wall of like the car, and I open the door and I like kick him out of the car, and I took the bag, and all of a sudden I drive off and I opened the bag and I came up on, like, money and drugs, obviously,
Wow.
and there was something and he had, like, a wallet in there with, like, his ID and, like, some other stuff, and I just put it back in the bag, and I, like, threw it out the window because I wanted nothing to do with it, you know what I mean? And I was like yeah, no, I was honestly crazy, and, like, I was just I don't know, I was always on some BS, but yeah, and as for the album, Call Jesus, um, that will be coming soon. I'm working
Your album is called Call Jesus. That's the shirt for
yes,
your album?
yes, that's why I wore it.
Tell me about it.
Um, you know, uh, I for me, I've always grown up like my family was always and now mind you, like blood family isn't like everything to me because of like a lot of things I've been through, but still like I always grew up in a very religious environment
Okay.
and you know, because oh no, my God. I'm sorry. I mean, I just okay. No, okay. And no, basically when I was growing up, I was always in a really religious environment, and because of that, like that was, it was mostly Catholic, Christian type of views. I wouldn't say I have a religion, but I think like a higher power is definitely what's gotten me to the place from where I was to now because my life used to just thrive. The reason I told that story is because my life used to thrive off negativity.
Yeah.
And it was always just like impulses, negativity, and just everything bad. And I feel like once I started realizing that there's someone up there watching me and like he's the only person that really matters, or he, she, whatever you want to believe, like is the only person that matters who I should be judged by, talk to him when you got an issue. Talk to him when you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Call him. And it all started off because there was a song called Call Jesus, and I eventually kind of just made that into like the whole album name. And yeah, I mean that's basically what it is. And I'm working on it right now, and it should be coming this summer.
Dude, that's dope. I like Jesus. That's the guy that forgives.
That's right.
It's great to be with a guy that forgives.
It is.
And so that's your higher power.
Yes.
Because you can't the program doesn't work unless you have a higher power that you turn everything over to.
Right.
So you pray to Jesus.
Yes.
Amazing. Cool.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. Even
Mhm.
you're wearing a shirt that says called Jesus. I thought it was something ironic.
But that's the cool part about it is people who may not believe in Jesus can still wear it because it's just a cool little slogan type of like
Yeah.
out like simple shirt, but it's still pushing positivity. You know what I mean?
I
Without them
like
realizing they're doing it. Like,
yeah.
oh, it's a cool shirt, but they don't realize they're pushing a positive message. And that's kind of like, you know, yeah.
Did you ever see that plug again?
No, no. I stayed far away from there.
Cool, dude.
Yeah.
Hey man, I love the chat. Dude, thanks for coming by. It's
Thank you.
amazing. You reached out to me about this. I'm so happy about
I
this.
did. I'm actually I've been tuning in, so I'm
Cool.
becoming a fan.
Oh man, that makes my day. I'm so
Yes.
excited to hear that.
Yes.
And yeah, I feel like you have a whole audience that I probably have no connection to.
Yep.
I'm excited. I hope they watch this.
They will.
Awesome.
All
And
right.
I wish you only the best with your you can call me if you ever need anything with your
Dude, thank you.
sobriety. So rock on.
Thank you.
Good to see you, dude.